The National Conference on Geology, Mining, Metallurgy and Groundwater Resources is an initiative by the Copperbelt University School of Mines and Mineral Sciences and the University of Zambia School of Mines, aimed at bringing together stakeholders to share ideas and find lasting solutions to challenges faced by Zambia in the extractive sector. In 2018, the two higher learning institutions held the first conference under the theme, The Future of Mining in Zambia. With positive feedback received from the first conference, the two universities made the conference an annual event. And in 2019, the second National Conference on Geology, Mining, Metallurgy and Groundwater Resources was held in Kitwe at Garden Hall Hotel. The 2 days conference was held under the theme, Diversification and Value Addition in the 21st Century. Her Honor the Vice President of the Republic of Zambia, Inongwe Wina, graced the occasion.
The aim of this conference is to bring together academics, researchers, industry, society and key policy makers to cooperate and share knowledge around this theme. Even so, we still have a long way to go, and only through a joint effort will be able to reach our fundamental goal. In this regard, I consider that this conference is taking on a transcendental role for the future of mining and education sectors in Zambia.
As we all know, value addition is key to diversifying the economy, as it creates a ripple effect in the economy and also results in meaningful and high quality jobs for the local population. The contribution of this conference, therefore, is meant to move the debate on value addition by contributing academic knowledge and information in this area. In this regard, the conference has papers on geology, mining, metallurgy and mineral processing, groundwater resource, policy, including policy on value addition, sustainable management of mineral resources, and emerging issues.
The University of Zambia Vice-Chancellor Professor Luke Mumba, in his speech, challenged higher learning institutions in the country to add value to communities.
This is the piece that has been missing for a long time. We as universities tend to work in our ivory towers. So the question is, what value are we adding to the well-being of the people? The person on the street. It is this kind of gathering that will enhance our relevance as universities, as industry, to the well-being of the people of this country. This event today brings together research institutions, CBU and UNZA, and indeed our government and the private sector in what in innovation policy studies we call a triple helix. This partnership is so critical, is so important to the development of any nation. The main player is the government. The government is critical in the sense that it provides an enabling environment for us as universities to conduct the research and also the private sector to do that which they're supposed to do.
Professor Nyson Ngoma called for support from various stakeholders to the universities if much is to be achieved. The Copperbelt University Vice-Chancellor is also aware of the fact that a skilled labor-driven economy can be championed by hands-on training, provided universities such as CBU receive improved funding.
Public universities, particularly the Copperbelt University and the University of Zambia, are determined to walk the talk. So we are determined to do this, but to do that, we require assistance of everybody. And by everybody, I mean the university faculty, I mean industry, I mean the general citizenry, by paying their bit. If you want to get good education, appropriate education, then you must pay for it. But then at the end of the day, that partnership must also include those who created us, the government. We are public universities. So whilst we understand the financial situation in the country, we also hope and pray that there is also some understanding that unless universities are appropriately funded, there is very little that might come out of them. Though that is the reality. We can sit here today and, and discuss the whole day. We can even take another day if you want, right? But nothing is going to move until we come to those realizations.
The Ministry of Water Development, Sanitation and Environmental Protection Minister applauded the two higher learning institutions for the initiative. Mr. Wanchinga said with challenges of climate change, such are platforms for sharing ideas. He said this in a speech read on his behalf by the Ministry of Water Development, Sanitation and Environmental Protection Permanent Secretary, Mavuto Sakala.
As a ministry responsible for water development and supply, I wish to reiterate that we will continue to support collaborations such as this one, considering that water is life, and therefore it must take the center stage in all discussions of various aspects of the future of Zambia, our nation, and indeed the entire SADC region, which is in dire crisis today because of the water problems brought about by, among other issues, effects of climate change. For Zambia, my ministry is committed to facilitating research on water and the dissemination of such research to inform and sustain a national debate on water and the way forward. I am optimistic that Zambia's abundant river basins, it is possible with the right strategies in place and aggregated tactics, Zambia will weather the water crisis over the medium and long term.
Minister of Mines Richard Musugwa observed that time has come for the country to fully benefit from its mineral resources.
The mismatch which exists with abundant natural resources and poverty and squalor associated with our people cannot continue. The challenge of our economic development lies in education and principally in science, mathematics, and technology. So this association of scholars coming together with government and private enterprise to help structure our recovery method is the way to go.
Officially opening the second national conference on geology, mining, metallurgy, and groundwater resources, Her Honor, the Vice President of the Republic of Zambia, Inonge Wina, said such initiatives are a tool to solve challenges such as unemployment and poverty that the country faces. She also placed emphasis on growing the country's industrialization programs through innovation.
And it is high time we began to realize the benefits of recapitalizing the mining sector. This theme, therefore, offers a broad range of issues for interrogation vis-à-vis geology, mining, metallurgy, groundwater resources, and emerging issues. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, look at ways of maximizing the development of mining-related secondary and tertiary sectors during the operations of a mining entity. As we engage in new exchange of knowledge, encourage the development of service industries coming as emerging issues from the traditional mining activities. I want to challenge you to consider taking the outcome of this conference very seriously. It should not just be a forum for interaction. As government, we have and will continue to provide an enabling environment for the mining sector and other industries to thrive. In the 2020 national budget, government has decided to maintain the value-added tax, but address the compliance and administrative challenges that have been faced with its implementation. Therefore, it is imperative that our partners in development, and in this particular case, the Zambia Chamber of Mines, should reciprocate government efforts.
After the official opening, it was time to get started with deliberations. 3 sessions were made comprising of geology and mining, metallurgy, plus groundwater resource and imaging issues.
This is artisanal mining. Artisanal mining, by law. You can do it. In fact, for Zambia, it's a very simple way of mining. Sometimes they don't even have to pay taxes. And you can do it where there is already a mining license. All you need to do is to get the consent from the owner of the mining license and you start doing it. Even because they know that if they get consent from there, then they can be able either to borrow money as a cooperative, they can also access some of these empowerment funds and so forth. So to answer your question, we are trying in this project of the UNDP organize them and formalize all of them. The same thing with the people in Zambia. They are also very well organized, but they've not yet finished formalizing them.
One is that from the slag that is produced, or to slag treatment, you can use the energy from the slag to produce steel. Now the other one, which I am a bit behind, is the production of the alloy. I think you had an alloy of iron, copper, and there's a third metal.
Cobalt.
Cobalt, yes.
Cobalt and iron.
So what happens with that alloy? Can it be processed further?
Yes.
Okay, so you can extract the iron.
But you won't separate iron and cobalt in this case, because the content of cobalt is quite small. Exactly, especially for Austria, it would not be necessary. So they just use it as alloy.
Solution, especially for us local authorities, so that maybe at local level we can try to implement to safeguard this important resource that's underground water. At one point, the one Minister of Health just came in and said, at one meeting, we have sourced for money through the WHO, and this money is basically that we should engage consultants from the UK come and assist us study the Lusaka situation and tell us why we have a problem with Korea. And I thought that was hitting the belt. After I'd already sorted out that these are the issues, and then we want someone else to come and rubber stamp it and say, yes, that's what it is. So what it is truly that we don't listen to ourselves. The moment we begin to listen to ourselves, we begin to sort out some of these problems.
At the close of business on day 1, delegates share an overview of their discussions.
In the afternoon discussion under mining and geology, in summary, what we discussed in the first presentation was around development minerals, which we looked at, minerals such as, river sand, minerals such as, building sand, as well as those stones that we use, to make our kitchen units, those precious ones. And of course, from the discussion that we had, is that we need to identify that as, key minerals that we can use to contribute to the economy of the country. And the other presentation was around using models that can enhance production in the mining sector.
I was in a session which was looking at metallurgy and basically advances in different ways of processing minerals. As we all know, obviously the high grades ores are depleting, and so we remain with low grade. And so we were looking at different ways of extracting low-grade materials. For example, even the tailings that usually in the past were discarded, now they are an important resource. So that's one of the things that we're looking at, is how best to extract, how best to recover from the things that we, in a time past, we thought were wastes, but now have become an important resource. And obviously also looking at different advances in technology that can be used in extraction of these still low grade. And I think also focusing on the recovery of cobalt, as we all know that cobalt has become an important mineral or metal of late because of its use in the electric vehicles.
So I'm under the group of that is looking at groundwater and its related issues. So basically, under that group, we looked at a lot of factors, beginning with what are the factors that are causing pollution in the groundwater. Then what are the problems around the groundwater, and possibly we are also looking at what are the solutions. And basically, I think it's a very interesting group, especially the fact that we are looking at the issues that are causing pollution, and basically a lot of issues have been highlighted. And one of the interesting factors is population growth itself. We have this population which is growing, and we have this population growth that is impacting on the pollution of groundwater. And then we have, on the other hand, how a presentation that looks at the purification system, the natural purification system, where can we tap groundwater, and all these matters are interlinked in some way. So basically we have issues that are pointing out the problems, and we have the other issues that are pointing out the solution. So the team is, I think, in the wrong line. If we compare the notes from the findings and the solution in this round table, I think we can find a solution there, because we are able to relate issues in that regard.
Day 2 began with a combined session and a powerful presentation on the future of the Copperbelt after mining activities.
What are we going to do as a country when mining comes to an end? It will not just come stop Kuju. It will start dwindling, like you are saying, dwindling. We used to nearly 1 million tons of copper. Now we're getting maybe 500 or whatever. We struggle. Some of the problems of this is a Danta thing. It's not because the Danta was a poor manager. It's technical problems. There are huge technical problems of winning copper, the remaining copper here. There are huge technical problems. So no matter how good managers you might bring, whether we bring Chinese, whatever, they will be faced with the same technical problems I've discovered, synclinonium, high depth. By the way, Mufulira, the geothermal gradient at Mufulira is very high. So already at 1,000 meters, you can only wait there for 4 hours. You have to come out because of the heat there. So the geothermal gradient is very high there. So gentlemen, let's be, as technical people, be honest. Tell our leaders that mining in the Copperbelt is soon coming to an end.
Another presentation during a combined sitting was from the Zambia Atomic Energy Agency Director General, Dr. Roland Msiska.
From planning to decommissioning, you need a 200 years plan. You therefore need intergenerational thinking, planning, and implementation. And you do it in such a way that you do not consume what you have now at the expense of the future. You balance your socio-economic and environmental. So if there is a program that will force the whole reorientation of the way we think as Zambians about development, It's a nuclear program. What was the trigger for this? In 2015 and 2016, Zambia experienced a low power production due to prolonged drought. And what many Zambians do not realize, just that one single drought reduced our economic growth by 40%, from 7% annual growth to 3 to 4% growth. In order to address this, the President, in 2 speeches, raised the possibility of including nuclear energy as part of a diversified, sustainable energy mix to power Zambia's economy. Now, if you look very carefully, 2018, 2019 looks exactly as 2015 and 2016. The only embarrassing thing is that we are not responding as we should have responded.
Delegates had an opportunity for question and answer session, which became heated and took most part of the morning.
I think your message is very, very powerful. There can be no development without taking risks. All these islands, the Americas that we see today, would not have been discovered if people did not take risks.
Chambishi, as we know it now, was also closed, that there is no ore there we can't run. As we talk now, Chambishi has got much higher resources than Lumwana, and the Chinese are just very quiet about it. So what we must be doing, Mr. Swale, the people of your type, must be able to look for opportunities in what appears to be like a gloomy picture, so that the young ones can be motivated.
Why are they secret? And where is the ore in Chambishi? Have you extended it? Yesterday I complained bitterly that there was nobody here from the Geological Survey. Maybe today we have, do we? They're not here. No one. Have we got anybody from the Mine Safety Department? Have we got an engineer? Nothing. Ministry of Mines? Nothing. Chambishi, you are telling us that there's got more potential in Chambishi here than Lumwana. I'm hearing that for the first time. And from my ancient geology, I cannot even map to find out where it is. You better give that information to us. But no matter what happens, Inchanga is finished. There is that open pit there. We must take steps to rehabilitate those areas. The paper which I presented is asking for measures to start rehabilitating the destruction that has taken place in the Copperbelt as a result of mining activities.
People at university level. But not only that, Dr. Mrs. Kitwe, Secretary of Cabinet, these things clearly do not escape you. And I've had the privilege of being a controlling officer at one stage. And there are controlling officers who understand this. Why are we not moving? Why?
There is something structurally wrong about our psychology. And the area we get our mindset change, we are not going very far. Because our poverty is not in all these things we are talking about. Our poverty is in the mind. I am not excusing us. Because to be beaten once is a mistake. To be beaten the second time, you must be a fool. And we must accept it. The Africa we want, there is a problem in that vision, just like all visions. The problem with Africa we want, a fantastic document. Everything is nicely written. In fact, strictly speaking, if documents could develop continents, that one should have developed us. But here is the challenge. I have had the privilege as Secretary of Cabinet to attend some of the AU meetings. I tell you, if there is anything that lacks at AU, it's frankness. Everybody stands up to congratulate the other person. So everybody is all right. Now, me, I'm sitting there as a small boy the first time I attended these meetings in Zimbabwe it was. Everybody else is congratulating everybody else. I'm saying to myself, wait a minute. Are we living in the same continent or this great one living in another? There's something about our politeness that has killed us also.
After the heated debate, it was time for discussions to continue in their respective sessions.
And one of you, who has been in the bush to put fertilizers on the plants and grasses we see? Who? But these grow, don't they? They grow Our mothers even sweep around the house, and the mangoes still give us fruits. Why do they get fruit from? Manure. Now, this is what another colleague of mine we managed to achieve. We are able to harvest microorganisms and multiply them and introduce them. And that's what we did. We partly supplied them with microorganisms. So with that technology, with that ability, you may see things happening as a substitute, to imitate what God does in nature.
Also, there's need to review and enforce stringent regulations as regards the mining of gold, because at the moment, people do whatever they like. The other proposal that we are making is that the Ministry of Mines needs to come up with a technical team that is going to offer technical support to these small-scale miners, like what the Ministry of Agriculture is doing. Ministry of Agriculture have got a very good technical system where they offer support to the small-scale miners, small-scale farmers. So if such could be done in this industry, then you'll find that the gold miners, the small-scale gold miners, will be able to produce the gold in a safer way and, of course, much better recoveries.
Another one is that small-scale mining of developed minerals does not affect crop production. Research method. This research adopted a mixed method study design in order to collect both primary and secondary data, which was qualitative and quantitative. It was a descriptive research because it was trying to understand the relationship between development, minerals excavation, and also crop production. A case study, it happened within the natural city. Some selected areas within the district were studied because these were areas that were genuinely affected by the mining activities. These were the farming areas, okay? So that's why it was purposive sampling. Aspects that have been mentioned can affect both farmers and the community in general, which includes also animals, because animals depend on crop produce as a source of food. Okay, and that is what we're trying to avoid and sustainable cities.
At the close of the conference, the delegates were optimistic of positive outcomes from the deliberations that were held.
The conference has been so good. People have been attending and people have been discussing, they've been engaging. I've liked it when we've had the keynote speeches, and now they have come out in that people have brought out very important things that we as a nation must carry forward. And there have been aspects of the policy as regards mining in general, and then specifically on geology, metallurgy, and as well as I did like the presentation by Dr. Rowan Musiska on the atomic agency and where we want to go as a nation as regards our energy deficits and what we want to do about it. And then later, the delegates engaged each other in a question and answer session in which a lot of information had to come out. And that's very important for us as a nation. Although unfortunately, the Ministry of Mine was not there, mine safety was not there, I think they have to come on board and be with us. The Chamber of Mines has to come on board and be with us. We need our policymakers to be available, to be with us, so that whatever is being discussed, whatever is coming out of our research outputs, is taken on and implemented as a nation.
It has been a very good event in that there has been a lot of interaction, not only around mining, but also on other sectors. For example, I'm coming from the forestry sector, and you really find that mining interacts very much with forestry, because wherever there is mining, sometimes there is clearing of forests, but again, there are some gains that are made from mining, and so there is a way that you should find a win-win situation between environment and mining, and that speaks to sustainability. And so coming to this event is quite an eye-opener for me, because I was able to learn new things from the presentation that were made by various presenters, which spoke to mining, but also to ecosystems and also to forest management.
We have had a reasonably successful conference, very nicely attended, and even the breakaways, you did see people coming in with a lot of enthusiasm in their discussions. And I think we have discussed the issues adequately. One would have hoped that what we have discussed, the enthusiasm with which we have also discussed these things, if we took them on to the other people who should implement them and they use the same enthusiasm, we should be moving elsewhere.
Me personally, I think the recognition by the Vice President of the work that we're doing at the University of Zambia that relates to the work that we want to do with men and women who are involved in crushing stones by the roadside, the fact that we are looking at developing equipment and technology that they can use was important, because it suggests that the science and technology, the research and development that we are engaged in that direction is fully appreciated by the political leadership, given the anticipated beneficiaries who are members of our society who are likely to benefit from this process. So I'm very happy about that fact. And also on another level, a number of the students that the Education for Sustainable Development in Africa program supports at master's level presented a number of papers during this conference. So from the perspective of my perspective as a coordinator of that program, I was happy about that because we see conferences such as these as very good training ground for our students, especially postgraduate students. So I was very happy about the opportunity that they had, so that was a good thing.
After so much talk, the conference ended with dinner, where a number of deserving stakeholders were awarded for their contribution in the mining sector. Among those, First Republican President Dr. Kenneth Kaunda was awarded as the lifelong highest achiever in human resource development.